everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Laura Nerbonis, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So first off, Happy New Year. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's and any sort of time off you had in between there. Whether you were with family, friends, or just staying at home, I hope that it was relaxing and hopefully a little less exciting than my own break was. So we had a different sort of Christmas. My mom ended up having to go in for emergency hernia surgery on Christmas Day. She and I were in Emerge all night Christmas Eve, and we didn't see Santa. We were up all night pretty much and didn't see him, but I did close my eyes for a few minutes, so that's probably when he showed up. But I was able to sneak back to my mom's house for a little bit Christmas morning and do presents with my kiddos, and then was back to the hospital while she had surgery. So it was different, and I'm glad that I planned not to do a video, because I ended up staying in Calgary with her for most of last week, and I didn't have any time to play. So I was so happy when my husband told me this weekend, he's like, hey, why don't you go to your office and you can just create? I know you have lots to do before the catalog launch on January 4th, so why don't you get to it? And I was really, really happy because I was able to come up with ideas not only for this video, but for my class for January, for my monthly card class, and my special make and takes for my bingo event. So if you are in Canada and you want to check out any of those events, I have them posted on my Facebook page. I have my monthly card class, which is $15 or free with a $35 order. And that counts for anything you're ordering. My website is listed at the bottom. And even if you don't tell me you want to sign up for that class, if you end up placing an order with me online, you will still receive those projects for free throughout the month. So it's just my little thank you to you guys. And you get kind of a fun exclusive video. And then if you're somebody also in Canada and you want to participate in my surprise prize bingo, that is later in January, and all the prizes from that event are going to come from our new January to April mini catalog, as well as some celebration goodies mixed in there. But we get some make and takes, we play 10 rounds of bingo, and if you can't come to my house, then you just tune in via Zoom. So let me know if you need any more information on that. But without further ado, I would like to share with you our project for today. So this project I am going to dedicate to somebody who I've never met, but who has been so patient with me. Her name is Julia Steele. And Julia messaged me back in August after I attended an onstage event, and her demonstrator brought back this little treat box that I had created. Well, I didn't create the box. I will give full credit to the measurements for this kind of box to Darby from Rejoice and Create. She made this lip balm holder a long time ago, and I've kind of modified it and played with it over the years to kind of suit whatever paper I'm playing with at the time. So anyways, Julia was like, I love this. Can I have all the directions? And I promised her that through the Christmas season, I was going to make this as a lip balm stocking stuffer. And unfortunately, life happened and we ran out of Tuesdays. So this video, Julia, is dedicated to you. Thank you for your patience. And also, I'm going to be sending you a little treat in the mail as a thank you for being so patient about me getting you your video. So anyways, we're going to create this little box. It holds a lip balm in there, which I know is really fun. And I figured even if we can't have it for a stocking stuffer, it's great to still pass out to somebody just to show that you're thinking of them or to brighten their day. You could also use some of our really adorable Valentine's products that are coming out and maybe make a little Valentine treat. So those are a few options for you. Now it is currently January 2nd, which means that I am not able to open up these catalogs quite yet on screen. So what I have in front of me is our celebration brochure. And for January and February, every order you place of $60, you get to choose something from these pages for free. There are items for $60 and there are items for $120. And today I'm going to show you, because I can show you product, I just can't show you the pages. I'm going to show you the Flight and Airy Designer Series paper. And that's what I chose to create my project with today. Now, of course, you can make this out of anything you want at all, and there's going to be even more stuff in the January to April mini catalog that you can view also. So these guys, this is just a little sneak peek of the paper. It will be available as a freebie on January 4th. So unfortunately, those celebration items you can't buy, but they are available as a free item, so you can purchase something else and then get these for free with that. Also, make sure to tune into my Facebook page, Lauren's Scrap Lot, on January 4th, because I have a bunch of fun catalog launch games and announcements and stuff for you. I'm going to be doing a paper share. So if you're in Canada and you want just a quarter of packages instead of whole packages from papers, then, hi Kathy, then I can certainly get you connected with that. But the reason I don't post all of my stuff ahead of time is because we're not supposed to post the graphics, and I'm not very good at photography, so I don't have everything all laid out to take photos of it in advance. So let's get busy. This, I'm going to move. I have cut myself a 6x6 piece of this designer series paper. Now, it really doesn't matter which designer series paper you're using, and I love that 6x6 piece means I can use those 6x6 inch paper pads as well. So there's a really cute hot air balloon one, for instance. This guy actually right here, because I was going to play with it next today. This is called Up in the Air, I believe. Oh, Lighter Than Air. Sorry, I'm still learning all the names. See, look, fun. This would be a really bright and maybe like a birthday party theme. If you have a little girl's birthday party and you want a party favor, you can use these colors and make this lip balm holder with a little hot air balloon on the front. Okay, so we're gonna need a scoreboard is what I'm gonna use. You can use your Stampin' Trimmer as well. Don't cut things, use the scoring blade, but I'm going to use the scoreboard just because it's a little easier for you to see what I'm doing. So that's what you need to cut, is one 6x6 piece of designer series paper, and then at the end, of course, you can decorate as you will. So I need my scoreboard here. I have tried to make this a little easier, but I don't know if you can quite tell. On my 6-inch mark, I actually just took a Sharpie and I drew a line all the way down my board. So that way I know exactly how my paper lines up. So when I put this in at an angle, this, as long as both my tips are touching the 6-inch, I know I'm in the right spot. So that is my suggestion to you. It will make your life a whole lot easier if you're able to confirm that your paper is exactly where you need it to be. Okay, so we're gonna do some scoring. It doesn't matter which side you start with, but we're gonna do some score marks while it's facing this way, and then we're gonna rotate and do some different ones here, okay? So, are we ready? Got our papers lined up. First score mark is going to be at 3 3/4. So I found 3 3/4, and I just have to kind of follow the track, find my paper, move all the way down. 3 3/4. 4 1/2. Oops. It's to move, doesn't it? 4 1/2. Check. 2 more on this one. 7 1/2. 8 1/4. Okay. So after the video, I will go in and put all of these in the description if you want them in writing and to confirm, but I will go over those one more time before we flip our page. 3 3/4, 4 1/2, 7 1/2, 8 1/4. Now I'm going to turn my page. It doesn't matter whether you go clockwise or counterclockwise, because our pages right now are identical. and we're lining up to that 6-inch mark right again. Notice we're not actually scoring on the 6-inch, but it's a nice amount of space for me to work with, and that way I don't have to worry about moving my paper all over the place. So this will be a little easier or trickier on your trimmer, depending on how you look at it. Okay, we need 2 score marks here. So this one is going to be 5 5/8, which on your scoreboard would be right here. 5 5/8, 6 3/8. So basically on your scoreboard, you're going 6 and 3 tick marks forward, 3 tick marks back. Nathan laughs at how I make things work in my head. I actually talk to myself. I'm like, yeah, 2 ticks from this. And he's like, Lauren, you need to give people measurements. So once again, 5 5/8, 6 3/8. And that is all the scoring we need to do. You're going to need some scissors now because we have some cutting. All right, got my nice Fiskars scissors. Okay, so you're going to have this arranged in front of you. So this large, do you see this big chunky section? One of those 2 needs to be facing your body, and one of them needs to be kind of above your workspace. These 2 small triangles are to the left and the right. So this is how we need to have this set up at the moment so that I can see clearly 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to take my scissors. You can start on whichever line you want, but we're going to cut up to the score mark. Don't go past that. Need those spots, but just up to the score mark. So that's loose right here. Okay, so we'll go nice and slow. All 4 of these lines are getting cut right up to the score mark right there. Okay, so that's loose now too. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that should be 4 lines cut right up to this score mark. And then we're going to flip this around and do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So we've got our 4 lines, and we're going to cut them right up until this score mark. Okay, so we're not crossing any score marks basically. Cut, stop. And stop. Oh, somebody's gonna get in trouble. Told my kids, do not knock unless there's an emergency. Oh, there is blood. Okay, I told them that was allowed. I will be back. Yeah. Band-Aids are? Like, unless there is blood or puke, do not knock. Give to him. There was blood. Okay. We've got all 4 of these done now at the moment, but we need to do a little bit more cutting. Okay, so we're going to turn this now. So basically one of those little triangles is facing you. We've got our 2 large sections now to the left and the right, and our small little triangles are on the top and the bottom. Okay, so now we are not cutting on this score mark. Don't cut on the score mark. You are going to make basically your own judgment call on what about 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch looks like above the score mark, okay? Because basically I want to cut this little section off. Here, this is what it is gonna kind of look like. I just need some tabs so that when I fold my box over, these can just tuck in. So there's no precise measurement for this one, and we didn't make a score mark because it's just one extra score mark that we don't want running through the whole of our piece. Okay, so I'm gonna just find my line. I'm gonna move up about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch, whatever I'm comfortable with. And I'm only cutting off that little triangle section. Okay, I'm not cutting into this next flap. And I'll do the same thing to its opposite. So find my score line and cut right up to the next flap. Okay? And now before I flip this over and do the same thing to the other side, I like to make a little triangle so that my tag or my tabs kind of tuck in. So on this end here, because of course this has a nice angle, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the tiniest triangle off. Okay, so I've made this into kind of an even tab looking piece. I'll do the same thing to the other side. Just cutting off a tiny triangle of space. Okay, so that's what you roughly should look like at the moment. We're going to turn this around and do the same thing on the other side. And just keep in mind, if you're watching this as a replay especially, you can just hit pause and you can catch up at any point. So hopefully you can see my score lines on this one. I wanted to do them on the other side and make like a reverse, but figured it was easier to see here. Okay, so here's my score line on my next little triangle section. I'm going to move up 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch. Doesn't have to be exact. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Find my line, up and over. And then we need to tab these by making a tiny little triangle. If you don't make the triangle, it's fine, but it will be a little trickier to fold. Okay? All right, that is all of our cutting. Now we need to do some scoring. So, easy scoring because every line is already done for you. So you're just gonna basically follow where there's a line. We're just gonna sit here and score. Now, of course, if you're doing a lot of these, perhaps you will have scored ahead of time, but I wanted to show you very clearly where to cut. And sometimes scoring ahead of time makes that a little tricky, okay? So all of these go in the same direction, which is why I say you could have done this ahead of time. One direction here. And then we're going to open it up and do the other direction. All our little score lines get pressed into place. Oh. Once you get the hang of this, they come together very easily. So do a bunch. Okay, these are all scored now. And before I add any adhesive, I'm just going to show you how it would kind of go together. So I've got these funky little tabs here. They will just go into place here. And then these tabs are going to fold downward for us to tuck a lip balm into. So because we don't want these moving, we're going to put a little adhesive. So choose your back side and choose one side, right or left, doesn't matter which one, but you only need adhesive one of the sides. And you can use either like a little glue dot. I'm just going to use a piece of double-sided tape. I'm going to tuck that right there on the edge or on the end. You don't need it all the way along here because these pieces don't cross the whole way. They only cross, you know, about part way. So we just need half of that. So I put 1, 2. Don't need to worry about the opposite side because they're going to stick together. Okay. I take your pick tool because I love this little end now that I have these nails. All right. And bear with me. We're going to fold these together. Just pinch them closed so that adhesive sticks. And 2. There we go. So now is the time, if you have a lip balm, you can go ahead and tuck it in there. So I have a friend, luckily, who makes a bunch of these. So this one is a nice raspberry flavor. And I'm going to now use my tabs, fold them in, and tuck this into bed. Okay. Now, to close up your box, we're going to do a little decorating. So when you're using designer paper with a pattern like this, it doesn't matter which way is up. But when you've got a piece that has directional birds, you're going to want to focus on the side where the birds are facing the right way. Okay, so I'm going to focus on this side as my front, and I'll bring this back so you can see it. I'm going to start by tying it closed just with a bit of twine. Okay, so to get my twine in there, I need some sort of hole punch. For me, I have kept our age-old tool. It's called a crocodile, and it used to be for setting like brads and eyelets, but I like the hole punches that are on the side. There's 2 of them, a large and a small. So I use the hole punches to do this job for me. And you can, of course, use just any hole punch that you have in your house. Okay, so make sure your triangle is even. And we're going to put 2 holes in there. So I have to put this one on this side, one on this side, about as even as you can. And then we're going to tie this together with our twine. So you can use either just one single piece of twine, or I like to put 2 pieces together and it actually gives a really full bow look. Okay, so make sure your ends are together. And throw that through. That's what looks pretty. Isn't always the easiest because I used my small hole punch. Oops. It's the large one. Oh. Okay, so now once my ends are in, I like to actually just tie a knot because I find it very frustrating to try and tie my bow when the box and this twine and everything is all trying to escape me. So I'm just going to go very quickly and try and tie a knot, and then you can fiddle from there and make a bow if you want to. But a knot also looks beautiful. So if you're like, no, I don't want to do a bow, I'm going to stop there, this will secure your box. You don't have to do anything more. If you're feeling adventuresome, then you can try and tie a bow. Okay, but at least it's not going to come apart on you. And then you can adjust from here. See, it's so nice and full because I chose to have 2 twines in there. There. I like just a small bow. You don't need something too overwhelming. And I'm just going to take my scissors, make sure these ends nice and even, like so. I could probably make this even a little bit smaller, to be honest. I'm looking at it. There we go. We'll do that. Okay, and then to decorate further, I decided I wanted a little sentiment. So what I did is I took a look at what we have coming out in the next catalog, and I thought I would give you one more sneak peek of another bundle. So this is called the Thoughtful Expressions bundle. There's gorgeous sentiments and this massive set of beautifully stitched dies. So the dies on this, they do have stitching on both sides. So when you cut it out, you'll get stitching not only on an image like this, but you would also have it on the negative. So you can use it like for a window, for instance, and it'll have a really nice sentiment or stitching on it. So I just used the smallest of these labels and I cut with basic white on there, and that's what I'm going to use for this project. I also grabbed the sentiment saying "You're in my thoughts" and my garden green ink. So I'm gonna move you. Oh, why are you getting so laggy? I hope it's not so laggy for you guys. I'm sorry.